Today, I'm going to take a look at the original PlayStation 1. Now, this console was one of my first consoles I ever owned as a kid. When I was younger, I wanted an N64, but I went to school and I had enough money. My brother and I saved up, and we didn't get an N64. Instead, we got a PlayStation. And I came home crying when that happened. But I soon figured out that getting this PlayStation, well, not this one exactly, it was actually a PS1, a slimmer model, was actually the right choice, and I honestly regret doing that because the Sony PlayStation, I believe, was a better console on the whole, even though I still was a sucker for Super Smash Brothers and the kind of games you played when you were young and your parents were grocery shopping and they left you at whatever playpen they had. They would always have an N64, but you didn't see a Sony PlayStation much. And fortunately, I did develop a taste for a lot of the games and a lot of good memories with this console. So first we're going to take a look at the hardware. And what you see here is that there's an open button. And you just put your disc in there. Very simple. It works. Then close. You have the power button. It turns the console on and off. It's this big button here. Then you have a reset. I believe on the PS1 these two buttons were compressed into one, but here they're still two separate buttons. Okay, if we come to look at the back of the console, you see that there's a port right here for the power. You have a port right here for the AV, which this is the same AV the PS2 uses. So if you have a cable that works with the PS2, it'll work with the PS1, and vice versa. And then a serial I/O port. I have no idea what this is used for, but it must have been used for something. And finally, you have this slot here, which must have been used for something else too. Can't get in there. But it's a parallel I/O port. It might have been for a modem or some kind of adapter. Really don't know. But it really feels like a tank, this console. I mean, it's solid and well built. Like, if I were to drop this off the second story of my dorm building, I don't think it would be damaged that badly. Now, one thing that really bothered me was that it only had two controller ports. So if I wanted to play games with, let's say, my brother, my neighbor, and I, one of us would have to sit watching. But I didn't know you could buy a multi-tap for it. And most of the games that are good are two players anyways, so either way, it's was what kind of killed it for me, but it wasn't bad watching the games. I mean, a lot of the good games were one player anyways, and so we just watched somebody beat the game, and it was entertaining. It was a lot of fun playing this thing as a kid. Now, what really makes this console is the games, so I'm going to go into my game closet and show you some of the stuff I have, and then later I'll show you demonstrations. So here's my primary collection of PS1 games. You know, your typical games that a lot of people add, like NASCAR racing. Some of the games kind of suck, like this game, Batman and Robin, not very good. My copy of Spyro the Dragon. This was a great game everyone had. And there are some gems that I have in here, games that are very valuable these days, like my copy of Final Fantasy VII. A lot of people in my dorm want to play that. Crash Warped. Cool. Where's the game? The Heart of Darkness. This game is extremely rare, extremely valuable, and extremely challenging. I dare anyone to try and beat this thing because I haven't. What are you doing here? And really that's about it. I'll show you some demonstrations of some of the games. Taking a look at the controllers, it's pretty much your standard Sony ordeal. You have the D-pads, the start and select, your shoulder buttons, analog sticks, a button to turn the analog on, then you have the 4 buttons you're used to: X, circle, triangle, and square. And what gets me about these is the button here, the analog stick, seems to be much looser than it does on the PS2. But other than that, this is an awesome controller. I mean, it's still used, versions of this still exist today. I mean, I have controllers just like this that were made in 2010. So, this is almost the perfect design for a controller. Next, we have the memory cards. And let me get them. As far as the memory cards go, most of them are just like this. Well, this one I found online for a couple bucks, so I picked it up because I didn't have one. And they're only compatible with PS1 games. Even if you play the game on a PS2, you can't save your PS2 data to this memory card, or you get the idea.
In the end, the PS1 is a console that brings back a lot of memories. It's truly a great console. And I do regret crying when I didn't get my N64, but that's a funny story. If you guys have any stories about games you played on the PS1 or experiences you had with the PlayStation, yeah, there's a distinction between PlayStation and PS1, I know, but it's kind of hard to make that distinction now because the PS2 and all that. Please leave the information in the comment section of this video, and remember to like and favorite it, or if you're viewing on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. And that's about it. See you guys later. Hopefully I'll have another review.